All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from ATL to Tampa. The Real Talk Sports Show coming up right now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we are excited to be broadcasting to you on every portal that we can. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, and on Twitch, and also broadcasting to you on audio via WIGO 1570 Atlanta's Incredible Radio. We're doing our Super Bowl week preview coming from Tampa Bay, coming from the ATL, bring you all that we can in the world of sports. Talking Super Bowl, but also talking our Hawks, talking our Falcons, and hopefully getting you guys somewhere doing the program, some interviews, clips of some of the interviews that we had, and we're at Super Bowl 55 press conferences. And also, we got some great guests that are going to join us later on in the broadcast as well. Remember, you can follow us anywhere on social media. Check us out at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. That's how you follow us anywhere on social media. We're on IG, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. You also can check us out on YouTube. Please go subscribe to our channel. It's YouTube.com/Real Talk Sports TV, or just put in Real Talk Sports. There's about 3 of us there, but I think that we are numero uno as far as YouTube is concerned. So again, guys, check us out there and follow us on YouTube. Well, it is not just football season is coming to the climax, but basketball season now is in full throttle. And of course, right here, our Atlanta Hawks are making the push to try to get the postseason play. And we got a gentleman here that covers the Hawks with a great blog. And actually, I should say blog now as well. He is known as E-Dub from Hawks Beat. What's up, E? Back in the building.
My guy, Brother Simmons, man. Happy New Year to you, man. I hope all is well. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, man, all is well. So it's great to be here. Great to see you back, man. And you got to be excited. The Hawks making some noise that we really haven't seen for almost about 4 years. So talk to us a little bit about what you've seen here with basically almost a third of the season gone so far.
Yeah, man, we really just reached the quarter season part of the Hawks, of the season, of the shortened season being 72 games. They're 10-10, which is, if you've been a Hawks fan the last few years, that's kind of reason for optimism. Another reason for optimism is being that they're 10-10 despite all of the injuries that they've had. I mean, you've missed Bogdanovich, Chris Dunn, Gallinari has been in and out. Rajon Rondo has been in and out. Cam has been in and out. Despite all of that, you're still 10-10. I think you're playing with house money. If you can tread water until these guys get healthy, you're going to be a playoff team. I fully believe that. So it's reason for optimism. They took the Lakers, the champions, down to the wire last night. Took them down to the wire, but at the end of the day, LeBron was LeBron. But the Lakers are the Lakers, man. But there's a lot of reason for optimism if you are an Atlanta Hawks fan.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So last night, the Hawks played really a magnificent game for most of the ball game. I was hoping to actually get a clip up of the press conference. Afterwards, talking with the coach, we were a little taken aback at the response. We had the final question of the day. I kind of didn't know what to expect. And like I said, I hope to try to get that clip up. If you guys don't see it this week, I'll go ahead and put it up at some point on social media. But E-Dub, to me, the whole thing kind of shifted really right at about the tail end of the third quarter and opening into the first quarter. It kind of reminds you of football. Football, they always tell you the last 2 minutes of the first half and, opening drive of the second half can kind of, make the game. And that's what we saw at the Hawks, up 76-70 and apparently rolling. And then the wheels came off. The Lakers ripped off a 16-0 run. What kind of was your viewpoint to some of the causes of why that kind of happened?
Well, here's the thing. And I texted you last night late night after the conference. I told him I didn't like the way Lloyd kind of shrugged you off on that question that you asked him. And if you listen to my podcast, I had to call Lloyd to the carpet, man. I do a lot of defending for Coach Pierce. I didn't like the way he shrugged your question. But here's the thing that happened. In the third quarter, Trey usually gets his rest, usually with about 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left going into the fourth quarter, because that's usually the rotation of how you do your stars. So you can have them fresh when it's time for clutch time. Trey was playing out of his mind in that third quarter. So Lloyd Pierce was in a situation where he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Do I keep him in or do I give him his rest? He decided to keep him in. So the fourth quarter starts, Trey gets his blow because he played the entire third quarter. Now you have guys like Rondo and Gallinari, guys that you paid good money for, guys that you have good money for. They came in and had a terrible stretch to the tune of, I think in totality was a 16-0 run. Now you're down by 10 when Trey and JC and all the rest of the guys get in. But I didn't like the way he shrugged the question, but they still had a chance to win that game. That's what I wouldn't say that was the reason they lost, but it didn't help.
Yeah, no doubt. So at the end of the day, I mean, what we kind of saw there was, a situation where, again, it's those momentum changers. And the other thing, too, is the Hawks team that really is challenged as far as, trying to – they can score, but in terms of trying to score with a team that, one of the things that the Lakers create problems for everybody is matchups, because they can hit you with very, very talented bigs. And the Hawks, even though with Clint Capella, certainly I think giving the Hawks all their money's worth and then some, joining up with John Collins to now give them some help at the bigs as well. I just think that when you put yourself behind and then you have to play against a team that still hosts probably the two of the top 5 players in the league, yeah, nothing nice going to happen there, bro.
Yeah, man. And the thing about it is LeBron, and I've always said LeBron is one of the masters in this game when it comes to game flow. He coasted for 3 quarters. We saw it. He let Anthony Davis do all of the heavy lifting. That's not a shot on Cam. I thought Cam played good defense on him. But when it came money time, we all knew what time it was, and he was not going to be stopped. And that is why he is LeBron Ramon James, and you just have to tip your cap. And that's Trey has to look at it as a learning opportunity, because Trey was putting the metal to the pedal. Third quarter, all 3 quarters. But come crunch time, he had 3 crucial turnovers, took a couple bad shots. That's the difference in the ball game, So he's going to learn that in his maturation. You hope to learn to master the game flow. But that last minute and a half, LeBron James was special.
Yeah, he's that dude, man. At the end of the day, he does have the uncanny knack of knowing when to do it. And all the great ones seem to have that same ability to know when to turn it on, when to turn it off. Like you said, when to coast and when to put the foot down. And basically, you could kind of feel the energy change as soon as they announced LeBron was coming back in the game. Everybody had that, and
yeah.
That's kind of what the feeling is, and that's something that the Hawks, I think, that going forward are going to have to be able to master, because to make any dent in the playoffs, and even to get there, besides just an 8th seed, you're going to have to be able to at least win a couple of those games against top quality opponents during the season.
Yeah, and I said this in my podcast, man. I said this, look, man, if you're going to make the playoffs, you're going to have to win these bunnies. You're going to have to win the games with teams where they're injured, the teams that you're favored against. But you're going to have to surprise a couple of these teams. You're going to have to win some games against the Lakers, the Celtics, and some of these top-tier teams. You're going to have to get some games that you're the underdog in. And I think that's part of the maturation for this team. And I think once you have a healthy roster, because, I mean, if you're being fair, if you take off the fan glasses, Lord is playing with the triage. You know what I'm saying? He's had so many injuries, and even the guys who are rotational players at best are logging heavy minutes. Solomon Hill, Rajon Rondo's he's a 10 to 15 minute guy at this point in his career. He shouldn't be logging all these heavy minutes, but if you have a healthy roster, then you have a lot more opportunity and a lot more flexibility. But I think he's done a good job at 10-10.
Speaking of healthy roster, I think a big surprise for Hawks fans has been the big step up this year in terms of what we're getting from DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre is showing us, I think, a lot of the things that we thought we were going to get out of Cam Reddish. A guy that can be your third option, a guy that can also play some good defense and get some boards. Talk to us a little bit about what you've seen out of the play of DeAndre Hunter so far this year.
Hey, so you really hooked me up, man, because I just wrote a piece today on DeAndre Hunter. I wrote a piece on the hawksbeat.com about DeAndre Hunter and how, it's time to give this man his due. And I had to pump my chest a little bit because I went back and pulled some clips of some stuff I did on the podcast talking about DeAndre before we even drafted him. I was like, this is the guy that the Hawks need to get. He was number one on my mock draft that year when the Hawks were going to draft. I had him ranked above R.J. Barrett. And so I've always been on the DeAndre Hunter train, but when he got drafted, all of the fanfare went to Cam Reddish. No disrespect to Cam Reddish, but they were acting like DeAndre wasn't a number 4 pick in the draft. This man as a rookie was guarding the team's best player every single night. And I don't think he got the credit for it. And so he came back, and this year he's flourishing. And again, you can talk good about DeAndre and not necessarily bash Cam. And I'm not bashing Cam, but DeAndre's 2 years older. He's stronger. He's just more mature. He's ready for the development. Cam's going to be a long-term project before all of the pieces come together. But I'm very happy for DeAndre. Great kid. I think that I think this is who he is. This is who he is. He is that type of player. And to me, he is unequivocally the Hawks' best two-way player.
And no doubt, like I said again, he's currently taking a big step up as far as what he's brought to the table here with this team. And like I said, really giving them a third option. Now, let's talk a little bit before we go to break in a couple of minutes. We had some early, I don't necessarily say fireworks, but we certainly had some early tension between two guys who I've said repeatedly, and for those of you who are not old like me, you're going to have to Google this. I thought that what I saw in their first 2 years together with Trae Young and John Collins, they were our modern-day Stockton to Malone, but it seemed like, I don't know, this is the vibe I got. Maybe it's because it's John's contract year, maybe because with Clint Capella now getting a lot of the alley-oops and dunks that previously he got, it seemed like he was feeling some kind of way. Am I reading that wrong?
Evidently, man, money will bring out the honesty in a lot of situations, and it's no secret. John's trying to get paid. You can't get paid if you don't get your stats, But I think the article that you're referring to that Chris Kirshner wrote in The Athletic, it was a little dust up between him and Trae. But I think that, look, man, if you've ever been on a sports team, if you ever played on a team, that happens. You beef with each other. But if you've seen the two guys played, you've seen them on the court, off the court now, I mean, I don't think it was that big of an issue. Yeah, they have a dust up. And you know what? They're probably going to have some more dust up before it's said and done. And to be honest with you, if you look at it with what John was saying, he was exactly right. He was exactly right. Sometimes they don't get into the sets quick enough. And that was his complaint. And he was absolutely right, because even Dominique and Stinger and everybody, they'll call it out on the broadcast and to say, Trae's got to get him into the set a little bit quicker, stop all that dribbling. So I think it's kind of a mountain out of a molehill. I think it's kind of in the past. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but hopefully John will get his money. Hopefully they'll work it out. But I think that's a dynamic duo that you have there.
Yeah, no doubt. And what I explain to people again, and you guys are going to have to Google this up. I'm sorry, because I'm going to have to go to some old school references, and I'm an OG, so that's have to go. But, growing up as a young guy and watching multiple sports, I'm going to go quickly to a baseball reference. When I was a little kid, a young guy, the 70s were dominated by a couple of teams. They were dominated by the Oakland A's, who won 3 World Series in the span of 4 years. The Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, had about a decade dominance from the 70s into 1980, and the New York Yankees. And all of these teams especially the Yankees, what we found was that they were actually, as you call them, dust-ups, and in some cases actually punches thrown. We saw even on live TV how a manager and star player, Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin, almost got into a fist fight in the middle of a game against one of their arch rivals. But all those teams I just mentioned all won multiple championships because what they did was they had the ability to compartmentalize. When those guys were off the field, they really kind of didn't like one another too much, but they had one goal and one goal only, to be world champions in whatever their field was and sport was. Like I mentioned, the Yankees won 2, the Cincinnati Reds won 2, and the Oakland A's won 3. And we saw that same stuff sometimes, occasionally, even with the teams from the Celtics from time to time. The New York Knicks, even though they didn't win championships, they were great teams in the 90s, and we saw some loggerheads. But again, I think you pointed out, I think that sometimes in order to be great, you have to be willing to not only push yourself, but push your teammates as well.
Yeah, definitely. And one quick thing, when we had the mini camp and the availability, and we were meeting all of these guys for the first time we talked about Bogey, first time we talked with Gallinari, the first time we talked with Rondo, it was amazing. And it was something that I pointed out. They all said the same thing: in order to have success is that everybody is going to have to sacrifice. What that sacrifice is, I'm not sure. Some's going to have to sacrifice a little bit more than the next. The sacrifice is going to be different. But all of those guys said sacrifice, and that was one thing I always took note of when they said it. And you're going to have to sacrifice, and if you for the greater good of the team. So I think you can sacrifice and you can become a winning team. So, we'll see. I think they'll get it together, though.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, man, it's just that's the way it works. I mean, you're going to push one another and you're going to make it happen. Speaking of push, I got that push from the station. As I mentioned, we're listening to WIGO. That's who is doing our audio-only broadcast on 1570. You also can listen to them on WIGO1570.com. That's their new website. And, of course, if you want to, on the app, free TuneIn Radio application. If you don't have it downloaded, it's free. Check us out there. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you will find the Real Talk Sports Show broadcasting to you right here, right now. We can take a little station break, but don't go nowhere. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. We drop it Super Bowl week from ATL to Tampa. Keep it locked right here for more.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
That's my man, JB Smooth, dropping it there for me. We appreciate all those individuals that dropped in. We had some Hall of Famers there. I should say future Hall of Famer. I didn't call him a Hall of Famer 3 or 4 times, but I'm sure that Charles Woodson is going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL, one of the great all-time players at defensive back and won the Heisman while he was at Michigan. Of course, Tim Tebow, a guy that had his own phrase, Tebow time. And, of course, Mr. Smooth, dropping it down as he always does here in his comedic way on the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm talking some Hawks basketball as we wrap up this segment here with the one and only E-Dub from hawksbeat.com, one of the best blogs to give you the insight on what's happening with our Atlanta Hawks here in Atlanta. We've just been talking about the championship grind, the championship DNA. Do you see in this team, obviously with the continued growth of Trae Young, John Collins, even now DeAndre Hunter, and to some degree Cam Reddish as well, and let's not throw out Kevin Huter, who's from time to time gives you the clutch 3. Do you see the beginnings of that missing ingredient that you see from most Atlanta metro area teams, the clutch gene.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. I think that it's really a matter of how patient you're going to be with this team. Fans, they're not going to be patient. They're not going to be patient. They want the quick fix. And if you've ever logged on the Hawks Twitter during a game, you understand that after every game, the fans want Lloyd Pierce fired. But it takes time. You and I know this. Rome wasn't built in a night. Even when LeBron went down to Miami, they didn't win a championship that first year. These things take time. I think that the guy pulling the strings at the end of the day, Travis Schlink, the GM, I think that he has a good basketball mind. I don't think he's going to be swayed to make any transactions or any moves that aren't necessary. So I always say I trust Travis. I think he's done a great job in the draft. I think he's done a great job assembling this team. I think he did a good job deassembling this team. We all remember what it was like, last 2-3 years, but he's assembled that now, and he's like, look, man, it's time to win. And I think that when these guys get healthy, you're going to start seeing the potential of what this team can be.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said again, I think they have the firepower now. Before, when you looked at this team, it really was a lot about Trae Young and John Collins. And again, I've said this numerous times. The biggest surprise for me really has been the offensive play of Clint Capella. We knew that he was an outstanding rebounder. We knew that he was a good defender. But the fact that this guy has been a consistent double-double, and matter of fact, he's had several games where he's had 20 and 10-plus rebounds. Yeah, that's something. Once everybody gets healthy, I think it's going to be a big key for them to advance in the postseason play.
Yeah, definitely, man. Clint has been just phenomenal. The thing you worried about is Clint is you just want him to stay healthy. You want him to stay upright because this is a different team when he's not out there, and there's the difference between when he's out there and when he's not out there, it's a big difference, and John Collins is a good rebounder, but it's a noticeable difference when he's not out there swallowing up every single rebound. Top 5 rebounder in the league. He's one of the best. He's a dog when it comes to rebounding, and the Hawks have needed that for a long time.
Yeah, you talked a lot of the quote-unquote old head Hawks, guys that played on some of the great Hawk teams from the late 70s in through the 90s. They all talk about the same thing, the Hawks not having that inside presence with a little bit of nest there. So seeing with Clint Capella, a guy that certainly is not intimidated by anybody, a guy that can mix it up with all the bigs. He even held his own against Anthony Davis and LeBron the other night. Yeah, they're going to need that. And I think that's going to really be the key because, as you know, E, in playoff time, you can't just run and gun. You have to be able to get sets, and you have to defend, especially in the paint.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's done a great job. He's even makes up for a lot of the wing mistakes that you may have when you have Trey or Kevin out there who are not the best defenders in the league. I'll just say that. Guys getting by those guys, and he's able to kind of clean up. And if not, get a block shot, alter the shots. Those are more important than blocking the shot is altering a shot. But he's definitely been great for the Hawks. I'm not sure he is gonna get into the All-Star game. With All-Star voting has started. I think the East is a little too crowded in the front court, but I think he'll definitely get some votes. I voted for him a couple of times. So he's definitely been a godsend for these Hawks in the paint.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's going to be a very interesting Hawks team to look at going forward. Now let's kind of spread it out to the NBA real quick before we wrap up the segment. We know the Hawks obviously play in the East. Right now, I think they're either 1 or 2 in the Southeastern Division. Who are the teams that you're looking at in the East that are going to be really the teams that the Hawks are going to have to kind of watch out for as, again, we get into the latter part of the season?
Well, you look at the top half, you're not going to have to worry about those. The Bucks, the Sixers, the Nets, the Celtics, you're not going to have to worry about those because they're just better teams than you. I think after that is that second tier, you're going to be jostling the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, I said the Cleveland Cavaliers, a much better basketball club this year. They have the same record. Well, they're actually 10-11. The Hawks are 10-10. A good club. I put them on the same tier with the Hawks. You got to look at the Charlotte Hornets, who have the same record as the Hawks. That they swept the Hawks this year so far. So those are 2 teams that you're really looking at. The Magic, even though they don't really have a good record, they always play the Hawks tough. So I think between the Cavs, the Hornets, and they're all right there right now. They're all right there right now. Even the New York Knicks, man. Yes, they are 9-13, but this Knicks team is playing some decent ball club. But all of these teams I just mentioned are all around that 10-win, 8-win, 9-win area right now. And those are the teams you got to get a leg up on.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And like you said, everybody talks about the idea of the New York Knickerbockers. But again, when you talk about 9-13, we've seen this before in various sports where a team is hovering around 500, sometimes under 500. And the key thing in sports is when you get hot. That's the key. So this Knicks team, like you said, they're lurking around. All of a sudden, they catch on fire late in the second half. All of a sudden, they can be in trouble. But I think overall, man, the Hawks are going to be, a team to reckon with as we go forward. And I look for them to be at least, obviously, an 8th seed, but I think they could possibly sneak to a 7th or 6th seed, depending on how everything falls out in the rest of the season. Well, speaking of fall out, we can't have anybody fall out on this show and leave the show before they let people know where they can be found, their podcasts, their websites, social media, all the stuff. And this is how we do it. We simply play the floor is yours.
My guy, listen, if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, you want to check out the Hawks Beat podcast. It is unequivocally the best Atlanta Hawks podcast on the web. We just dropped a podcast today. It is the best podcast in the world. If you don't believe me, I'll give you your money back. But the Hawks Beat podcast can be found at all of your podcasting places where you get podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. Hawks Beat. Hawks Beat is our Twitter, our Instagram. It's all one word right there on the screen. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Hawks Beat. The website is thehawksbeat.com. Y'all know how to get it, man. My guy Jonathan, anytime he calls me, man, I got him. That's my brother, man. Much love.
You already know. Yes, sir. So there it is, guys. That's Edwin from Hawks Beat. Check him out. I'll pop it up here to you one more time. It's simply the Hawks Beat podcast. You follow him at hawksbeat.com. There it is, Hawks Beat. So that makes it easy. It's the podcast. It's .com. You also can follow him that way on social media. Check him out. E-Dub in the building. We appreciate you, man. And guys, I gotta tell you, I got a big shout out. Most of the guys that come on this program, as you people know, very few of us work for ESPN or Fox Sports. So we got jobs. And at the end of the day, this man has been involved with helping children for a long time. That's his passion. And we thank God for him, because at the end of the day, we need more and more men and grown men to be involved with our communities, with our children. So, man, big shout out to you for all you've done and all you continue to do, man, impacting our kids all across Metro Atlanta.
Hey, much appreciated, sir. Salute to you.
Peace and love until the next time.
My guy.
All right. Hey, like I said, we're broadcasting you here. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Again, that's Hawks Beat Podcast. Check out Edwin there as he does his thing. And there I am there. That's me, Minister Jonathan Simmons. Remember, you can follow us on social media. Check us out, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. That's how we are. Any social media podcast, like I said, we podcast. Obviously, we broadcast you here on YouTube. We want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching the replay on Periscope. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate all those of you who share the broadcast. And we appreciate all those of you who follow us on YouTube. We picked up tons of subscribers since we did some high school football this fall. So we thank God for all those of you who have been so kind to let people know what's up with the Real Talk Sports Show. We hope at some point in time we have people on the ground, boots on the ground. As you can see behind me, there is the big banner and show as we give you a glimpse of what's happening down in Tampa. We hope that our lovely co-host, Miss Latricia Dolman, will join us a little bit later. She's actually in the middle of doing a photo shoot, so hopefully she will be able to join us at some time during the program. But yeah, from ATL to Tampa, we be in the building here at the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. And again, we appreciate you guys so much for joining us here on the Real Talk Sports Show. Well, guys, listen, you know how we do it. We always got to take a little break because we got people listening on radio, on WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. We also have those people who are watching us again on all platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Periscope, which soon will be Twitter TV. And we also are on Twitch. That's right, the gaming network Twitch, which is owned by Amazon. We're on that as well, broadcasting to you live. And you know how we got to do it. When we get to the 15-minute point of each part of the broadcast, we got to take a little break. But you don't go nowhere because we'll be back. We got a special guest that's got a unique perspective on the Super Bowl and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You say, who might that be, pray tell? None of your business. You got to keep it locked right here for more on the Real Talk Sports Show.
Nothing better than the sound of diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2020 Ford F-250, now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pound of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allen Vigil Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in the shirt and tie. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Yeah, guys, check me out at Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. They have been, again, a great media partner with us. They were our primary sponsor for high school football. Again, we appreciate them. Big shout out to Mr. Vigil. Again, that's Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. They're located 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Morrow, Georgia. We are just minutes from anywhere in Metro Atlanta. Again, you check us out right off of I-75, exit 231. That's the Mount Zion Boulevard exit. Come on down and check us out. And I'll be more than happy to be your personal automobile consultant, whether you need a car for yourself or family member or for your business. We can help you out. You can give me a call directly on my cell. Give me a call, 678-410-9833. And again, I'll be more than happy to assist you in whatever your needs may be. There it is right on the screen, 678-410-9833. All right, guys. Well, you know how we do it. We want to go ahead and make sure to let you guys kind of know what's going on here on the scene. And one of the things we like to do is, as we know, we get to the Super Bowl broadcast, we like to bring guys who've actually had real life experience in or around the game. This guy that I'm bringing on right now, shout out to you guys on Georgia Tech Nation on Facebook that allowed me to stream this. I got a guy that was probably considered the greatest quarterback ever to lace him up for the antique white and gold. He finished runner-up in the Heisman. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. And right now, every day you can catch him out on his program on 680 The Fan with Home Team. I'm talking about the one and only Joe Hamilton is in the building. Joe, welcome back, sir.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, my brother? Good to have you.
Hey, man, I'm excited.
Excited to hear you.
Yes, sir. Excited to have you here and back with us here on the Real Talk Sports Show. It's been a minute, man. And again, we're just very thankful to you for allowing us to taking a little bit of your time to come join us, man. So just kind of tell us a little bit before we get into the meat about how people can check out your broadcast, because again, you're bringing it every single day on 680 The Fan. So tell people a little bit more about that.
Well, I have an extraordinary partner in Home Team, Brandon Leak. We on from 9 to 11 every morning on 680 The Fan. We tackle everything sports here in Atlanta. We tackle national news, and we also tackle hot topics, sports topic, life topics, and we try to infotain for 2 hours. And there's nothing better. You can stream us on 680 The Fan app. You can download that app and carry us wherever you want to go. And if you happen to miss anything, you can go back and listen to it wherever you are. And I'm having a lot of fun. I tell you that, Jonathan. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, man, there we go. So, we like you said, man, we just appreciate the stuff that you do, man, and just how you bring it. And yeah, you do have a great co-host in my man Home Team. So again, we appreciate him, appreciate you guys for doing some great things. Another thing, a guy that we appreciate, I always like to give kudos and props to whom they're due. A lot of people see me come on here as the minister, all suited and booted. Sometimes we pop them back on here when I head down to Florida. I put the shades on. But I got to tell you, the guy that got me started here in the whole radio business, talking sports, is a guy who we refer to, Joe, as the sports or football encyclopedia. He does a wonderful broadcast, has over 20,000 followers on their Facebook page, which is the wonderful world of 100 yards of football, sports talk radio. He's known simply as Mr. Football from the 901, Memphis, Tennessee. Vincent W. Turner is in the building. Mr. Football, what's going on, sir?
How y'all gentlemen doing tonight? What's
Man,
up, JoJo? What's up, JoJo?
Vincent. What's up, my brother? Good to see you, man.
Let's get this party started. Lakeside in the house.
Listen, man, it's good
Alvin,
to have
South
you.
Carolina in the house.
Well, good to have you guys in the building here. For a lot of people who have been followers of the Real Talk Sports Show, you know that back in the day, always used to get together on a more regular basis. Matter of fact, you can go to YouTube page and see our one of our pre-TV broadcasts and check us out. We had a panel of myself, Joe, Mr. Football, and Mr. Barry Brown. We chopped it up and brought it to you. But that was then. This is now. Gentlemen, we want to talk about this big-time matchup here. The GOAT against possibly the future GOAT as Kansas City now squares off against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe, I'm going to let you have the floor first. Do you think your Bucs can pull this off and knock off the defending champions?
Oh, absolutely. Because when you look at it, there's some little bit of flaws going on with the Kansas City Chiefs right now. And I'm specifically talking about the left tackle that's going to be in there now, Mike Rimmers, moving from guard. Not to say he's not a veteran in the NFL, because he is, 9 years experience, but he hadn't been in that fire. And you're also going with the backup right tackle as well for the Kansas City Chiefs. Can those guys, those bookend tackles, be able to contain Shaquille Barrett, be able to contain Jason Pierre-Paul and Vita Vea and Dominican Sue coming up the middle? That's the key. I know everybody loves to talk about the quarterbacks, and quarterbacks, they're going to get a lot of the glory. Quarterbacks are going to get a lot of the shine. They're going to be the reason why a lot of people put wins and losses on their teams. But it's going to come down to which team. Spagnuolo for the Kansas City Chiefs, defensive coordinator, or Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator for the Bucs. Do you have to send an extra guy to get pressure? Because with these two quarterbacks, you don't want to be sending linebackers and safeties and cornerbacks and having your back end compromised. You want to be able to get a pass rush with the front four, and that's what I'll be watching. If you can get a pass rush with the front four, I think you can not rattle, but get to the feet of these quarterbacks, and that's what you want to look at in the matchup on Sunday.
All right, Mr. Football, you've heard Joe eloquently lay it out. What are your thoughts here about this matchup, Kansas City against Tampa Bay? Everybody's talking about offenses. Talk to us a little bit about what KC might be able to do against the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Well, I'm agree with Mr. Hamilton. Kansas City has a lot of problems in their offensive line, but I think the depth of Kansas City offensive line is going to play real huge. Mike Rimmers, I think, is going to be the most important player on the field at the left tackle spot. But when you look at this game, I'm looking at Kansas City. Think about this. Tyreek Hill had, 200 yards in the first quarter against Tampa Bay and 2 touchdowns, right? Back in December, correct?
Correct.
So when you look at teams that played in the Super Bowl, in the history of some of these teams that's won it, they always had that piece, that player at the wide receiver position that can take the top off. Let me take you back in the day. When I loved the Cowboys, they played this team, Pittsburgh. They had the great one out of USC, Lynn Swann, that took the top off. Then they had another guy. They got a ring for Frisco out of Crawford, Mississippi. As I tell everybody, there's something in the water in Mississippi because my mother and father from Mississippi. Mr. Jerry Rice took the top off. Then Julian Edelman took the top off a couple of years ago for New England against the Rams. Then my man Hines Ward out of Forest Park took the top off against Seattle. Deion Branch took the top off against Philadelphia. Now, all I've heard about is Tampa Bay's pass rush. It's no question about it. They should have an advantage. But when I look at it, Mr. Schwartz was out early this year for Kansas City, right? But that offense still clicked with Patrick Mahomes. My only question about Kansas City, how healthy is Patrick Mahomes? Because he's going to be able to move in the pocket as he's healthy. And my question is, I'm not worried about what Tampa Bay going to do offensively. What are they going to do defensively, Todd Bowles? Because I like the matchup what Kansas City's got. The 4x100 club. Sammy Watkins, Miko Harmon, and my man Tariq Hill, Ken Carlton Davis, Ken Antonio Winfield. Can they guard them? So you're right, Mr. Hamilton. You better hope Tampa Bay pass rush get there, because I keep it plain and simple. Because they don't, it's going to be like this. All the way live, Lakeside, Mr. Patrick Mahomes is going to take home Super Bowl 55.
Well, there's no doubt about it, all right, Mr. Football, that the Kansas City Chiefs are full of weapons. There's no doubt about that. But again, you need time to get the weapons down the field. And will Coach Andy Reid and Coach Eric Bieniemy have to keep Travis Kelce in to give help on the tackles? Will you have to chip with their backs? And that's going to delay those guys getting out. And I anticipate, just like you're saying, Andy Reid and Coach Eric Bieniemy doing a lot of motions, a lot of quick screens, a lot of now routes, getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers pretty quick to neutralize that pass rush a little bit. But it's going to be a game within the game. Coach Todd Bowles cannot. He can use some things to slow Kansas City down, but he can't take too much from that first game and think that you can go into the Super Bowl and be successful. You're going to have to try to slow down Tyreek Hill from taking the coverage off the defense, and Travis Kelce. Those mismatches, you're going to have to live and die. I don't think you need any bullets in the gun if you're Todd Bowles. There's no need to carry a blitz home. There's no need to say, I forgot to call this. All cards are on deck. Shove them to the middle and let those guys go play. And I want to ask you guys this. Do you feel that any of these teams, especially Tampa Bay, is going to try to play keep away? Not keep away the old holding it until 5 seconds left on the play clock. I'm talking about the running game and methodically making sure that you are in and out of the right plays, not giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, because we all know the best defense for against the Kansas City Chiefs is to keep Patrick Mahomes and those boys on the sideline as much as possible. And that's going to be another key to me, for me on Sunday, time of possession and who can win the running game battle.
Well, Mr. Turner, I'm going to let you attack that one first, and I'll jump in after you. Go ahead.
Okay. Answer to that point, I would assume Tampa Bay would try to use that in their game plan. Simply because, let's go back in time, memory lapse. Remember, San Francisco did that last in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. They did that good for 3 quarters. But however, remember in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 18, and Mr. Mahomes was able to get out of the pocket a little bit, and then he threw that 44-yard bomb to Tariq Hill that set up Kansas City, I think, on the 24-yard line. And from that standpoint, Kansas City took it in. It became 24-20, and the whole game changed. My whole point of it is you're not going to stop Kansas City with no time of possession. Remember, they got down to Buffalo 9-0, and what happened? They came back, like I said, all the way live. They just got too much talent on offense, man. Too many weapons. My thing is this, very simple. Tampa Bay better have a game plan where they're going to run the football, and they better play ball control.
Right quick, Mr. Football, though, why are you not talking about the weapons that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers possess? Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin, Fournette, Tom Brady, in the way he's able to manipulate a defense, getting the balls out of his hands. That's a potent offense as well. And I don't look at any world beaters on the Kansas City defense. I love Tyrann Mathieu in the back end.
Oh my God, you disrespecting Kansas City. Obviously, last year you didn't forget about that young man from Michigan that brought his A game to the table by the name of Frank Clark out of Michigan. And then you disrespecting Chris Jones, my boy, again, from the state of Mississippi. I tell you something about in the water, Mississippi. Don't get it twisted about Kansas City defense now. They still got the honey badger. I know Tampa Bay got weapons, but if I had to put on some money, I would put my money on Kansas City slowing down Tampa Bay a lot more than I think Tampa Bay going to slow down Kansas City. Because obviously, Mr. Hamilton, you must got brain damage, because last time I checked, Tyreek Hill had over 200 in the first quarter.
Yes, and that's the thing about.
Tell me, what has Tampa Bay gonna do since that time?
Well, look at it. Tampa Bay has changed. Tampa Bay got Vita Vea back. Tampa Bay is going to push that pocket up the middle, and they're going to come and force you to have one-on-one on the outsides, because the worst thing you want as a quarterback to have is to have pressure up the middle. So they're going to try to take care of Ndamukong Suh, and they're going to try to take care of Vita Vea up the middle, and that's going to leave those two tackles, the very important two tackles, one-on-one with Jason Pierre-Paul and one-on-one with Shaquille Barrett. So the fact that you're thinking right now that the Kansas City Chiefs defense is a little better, or you would bet on them more than the Bucs, I don't trust the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback at all.
The offense. That's what I'm saying. Kansas City going to score more points. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Kansas City defense is going to be able to slow Tampa Bay down a little bit. I'm not taking no disrespect from Tampa Bay having weapons, but if I had to put weapons against weapons, come on, Mr. Hamilton, who you going to take? And now you telling me that you're going to put your money on the Tampa Bay secondary, Carlton Davis, Antonio Winfield, Jordan Whitehead, Jamal Dean against Malik Hartman, 4-3. Against Tyreek Hill, 4-2. Against Sammy Watkins, 4-3. Then you throw in Travis Kelce. Then you throw in the young man from LSU class, Edwards-Helaire. He gonna be left. And then, oh my God, I forgot about Michigan State finest, LeVon Bell. Come on, man. Come on, baby.
I understand. I'm with you. I'm understanding. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And I'll let you go in here, Jonathan, but I'm totally with you with the weapons that KC possess. I'm totally with you with Chris Jones penetrating up front as in the tackle position, getting his hands up, batting balls down. Very, very disruptive in the run and the pass game. I like Frank Clark a lot, but I don't see many weapons that the Kansas City Chiefs are just going to out-weapon the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The same people you just called for the Chiefs, I can call you out Antonio Brown. I can call you out Gronkowski. I can call you out Mike Evans as well.
Gentlemen, hang on just a second. We got social media buzzing. We got Emmanuel Jones, a bunch of other people popping in. Here's what we got to do. We know we got to take a break. Final break of the afternoon here for our listeners at WIGO 1570. You are listening to one of the hottest shows that talking sports here in Atlanta, the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing to you, as we always do, sports from a different perspective. Keep it locked right here because we'll be back with more of that fire in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
We're back here, Real Talk Sports Show. Thanking everybody here that's been watching us, for listening to us. Appreciate those of you who are watching on the replay on Periscope. Thank you for all those of you who are sharing the broadcast on different platforms. Again, we're coming to you on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live as well. And also, we are broadcasting live audio only on WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Check them out online at WIGO1570.com on their new website. Well, I got a rocking, shocking panel here with me. I have up in the upper left-hand corner, for those of you who are watching, he is the producer and lead host for a great show called 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio, Mr. Vincent W. Turner, a.k.a. Mr. Football in the building. We also have over right next to him in the upper right-hand corner, a college football Hall of Famer, one of the greatest guys ever to lace him up at Georgia Tech. Also, a Super Bowl winner himself with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Joe Hamilton in the building. And we're going to bring him up, guys. He's been hanging out in the green room. We're going to transition at some point after the Super Bowl and talk also about the Atlanta Falcons. And, of course, if we do that, you know who, guys, the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports. He does a great thing, cover 9 on 9. He is an award-winning beat writer and sports writer. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is in the building. D. Led, welcome back, sir.
Welcome, Reverend. Thanks for having me today. It's good seeing you all tonight, Joe and Vincent.
What's up, D-Led?
How you doing, Mr. Ledbetter?
Oh, I'm doing great, doing great.
Amen. It's a blessing to be in your presence. I see greatness.
Social media, right quick. Let's get some questions here. Emmanuel Johnson says KC has the dogs up front. That's how they won the bowl last year. He also talks about the fact that Tom Brady is overrated. He said if they block them, if they can't block them, it's going to be Kansas City all day. So, gentlemen, the question comes back to the panel. Who's got the bigger challenge here? Is it going to be the KC defense or the Tampa Bay defense? We're going to bring in the guy that just popped in the show, Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter. Who do you think has the biggest challenge on deck?
Oh, clearly the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. They're down. Both tackles are out. They're moving Ramers over to left. They got a backup in at right. Wisniewski is going to be playing guard, and he was in Pittsburgh as late as November. So they're going into a Super Bowl with pretty much a patchwork offensive line, trying to block the best pass rushers and the best pass rushing ends in the game right now, Shaquille Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, a guy that Jason Pierre-Paul, a guy that we could have at one point, I believe, had here in Atlanta, but that's a whole nother story. All right. And I look at this team here, it kind of reminds me a little bit, again, I'm kind of an old guy, reminds me of a team that played in the 80s that won a little garnet and gold. The San Francisco 49ers, they had a chance to square up against a very, very strong and powerful offense in the Miami Dolphins. Everybody talked about the offensive showdown between Joe Montana, the original GOAT, and Dan Marino. But as it turns out, the San Francisco defense was feeling some kind of way. And they really were the guys that instrumented that big 38-16 victory over the Miami Dolphins. And me personally, I think that's going to be the story. I think it's going to be the Kansas City defense, especially since, as you guys all know, Spagnuolo has had the answer against Tom Brady when he was with the Giants. And also he has been a thorn in their side when he was over with the Ravens. So I think that's going to be the key. The Kansas City defense is going to go on turn-up mode. And I think the game may not be close. Sorry about that, Joe. I think I'm looking for Kansas City to win big.
Kansas City to win big, Minister
Yes,
Jonathan Simmons. I don't know how. I don't know how you can all of a sudden think that Kansas City is going to be all world on defense. I don't know how you think that they're going to be able to stop the weapons on the outside, Gronkowski, and the decision making of Tom Brady. That's going to slow the game down. There's absolutely no defenses that he's not seen yet. I think he'll control the game from the line of scrimmage. And I want you guys to make sure you pay attention to the unscouted looks. When you have 2 weeks off, when you have 1 week between games, then you're going to all of a sudden throw in some wrinkles. You're going to mix up some play callings. You're going to try to speed up the pace or slow down the pace a little bit. You know, make the defense speak at the line of scrimmage and make sure they communicate very, very well. So I don't see the game being high scoring at all. I've seen the game, as you know, when you played, 16, 17, 18 games throughout the season, you have tendencies. And that's why when you see sometimes in the Super Bowl, when we think it's going to be high scoring, it's not that high of a scoring because defensive coordinators have so much film to be able to take something away. So I'm anxious to see what Coach Todd Bowles is going to try to take away from the Kansas City Chiefs. Is it Kelsey? Is it Tyreek Hill going deep? Is it the running game? I don't know.
Let's go back to social media again. Emmanuel Johnson says that the Bucks have the biggest challenge because of their DBs. He thinks they're trash. He wants to give you a big shout out, Joe, showing you some love, but he says he's go Dogs at the end of the day. And one last comment from Emmanuel.
I wouldn't hold the Go Dogs against him. I wouldn't hold that against him.
There we go. He said the final comment is that's why KC needs to run the ball to keep Tampa Bay and their big players away from the ball. And certainly that's going to be a big key. I think all you guys watching this know it's going to be a big key. D-Led, I know your thing has always been, even with the Falcons, it's all been about controlling the line of scrimmage. And the question is going to be is, I don't know, gentlemen, can you tell me, I know Leonard Fournette obviously is going to play. How about the other back for Tampa Bay has done so well? I think is Mr. Jones, if I'm not mistaken. Is he going to play?
Yeah, Rojo, yeah, everything's a go. They also got Slim Shady down there too, so they're 3 deep. Or unless I'm messing that up, no Shady's with somebody. But yeah, Fournette is and Ronald Jones are their 2 big backs.
Mr. Turner, now you got a chance to watch Fournette at LSU. You're a big SEC guy. Do you think he's got the capability to play big in this game?
There's no question about it. He probably is going to be a factor in the game because I see Tampa Bay running the ball a lot to keep the ball away from Kansas City's potent offense. But like I said, it's only conversation here tonight. I'm going to stay to my guns. Like Mr. Ledbetter said and like Mr. Hamilton said, the key to me is whether or not Kansas City offensive line can hold up and Patrick Mahomes is healthy. If he's healthy and their offensive line holds up, then as I told you, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Ledbetter, you went on, I don't care about game film. I don't care about whatever, looking at all this. I'm going back a couple of weeks ago, and all I know, Tyreek Hill took the top off for 200 yards in the first quarter. I don't see nobody, like the man Mr. Johnson said, I don't see no lockdown gloves in the secondary for Tampa Bay, slowing the 4x100 Kansas City receiving corps. And as you said, Mr. Simmons, if that happens, Kansas City all the way live Lakeside. And that's all I have to say. I'm taking Kansas City, and they're going to score points. Simple as that.
I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Football, no doubt about it. But again, that's why it's a team sport. So if their DB really, really sucks, you're going to try to protect them. And Todd Bowles is checking notes. He took notes about that first matchup. And what he did wrong in that first matchup, he tried to think, or he thought that his DBs could match up with Tyreek Hill one-on-one, man-to-man. And he got burnt for it. I don't see that happening again. The key to it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, you really hot on Todd Bowles this evening. So why you're a Georgia Tech great. You played at a high level. Much respect here. So why don't you tell us how the secondary going to slow down Kansas City right now? Explain that to me because I want to hear this.
Well, they're going to attack. They're going to attack those two left tackles. They're going to try to make sure Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh can rush up the middle. And they're praying right now. If that front four can get home without sending a Will or a Sam linebacker or anybody out the secondary, then you can drop 7 deep and make it tough in those zones for Patrick Mahomes, bump those guys a little bit, make them hold the ball. That's the recipe. And it's not a good recipe if you have to bring somebody out of the secondary or of the front 7, and you can't get home with 4, then that's a long day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I got another question for you.
Hang on one second here, gentlemen. There's one recipe I always have to stir up. The folks at WIGO 1570 only have us to 9 o'clock, so as we now get to the 9 o'clock hour, we got to give them a big shout out and big kudos, and thank you guys who have been listening to us on WIGO and also been listening to us on WIGO1570.com, our brand new website. Want to give a big shout out to the guy behind the glass. You never see him. He's our producer for our show and our board engineer, the one and only Eli Smith. Eli does a great job. He's a legendary gospel DJ. He's been with us here in the Atlanta area for years and years. Used to be on WYZE, and he was always known for his call off, which was 6 a.m. in the morning. You can check him now, 9 a.m. to 12 noon every day with the exception of Wednesday, Monday through Friday, on WIGO 1570 or WIGO1570.com. All right, everybody, you know how I like to do it. When I sign off on the broadcast, simply, God bless you and good night. All right, so those of you who watch us on social media, don't go nowhere. We're still here, chopping up here with 3 greats in the building. Upper left-hand corner, Joe Hamilton, College Football Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats from Georgia Tech, and a Super Bowl winner with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right next to him, Vincent W. Turner, boasting over 20,000 followers on their Facebook page, 100 Yards of Football, sports radio show. And down in the left-hand corner, he is the embedded beat writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He is the #1 guy if you want to know anything about the Atlanta Falcons, and a great educator as well. Does a great job in terms of training and helping our young people, D. Orlando Ledbetter. And yours truly, the minister, is in the building. Gentlemen, now before we break back out into our conversation, as you know, in the Real Talk Sports Show, we always like to make sure that our viewers be able to gaze upon lovely individuals who talk the world of sports. Breaking in live from Tampa Bay, the headquarters and the home of Super Bowl 55, the beauty queen herself, the lovely Miss Tree Dolman, is now in the building. Tree, are you there?
I'm here. Hello.
Ta-da! There she is. The queen has arrived.
Yay.
Well, Tree, before we get back into talking more football, give us a quick update on what you've seen on the ground. She is our on-the-ground reporter there for the Real Talk Sports Show. She's in Tampa right now, so give us an update on what you've seen so far in Tampa.
Well, so far, everything is going great. They're getting prepared. Everything is set up. It looks so beautiful driving past the stadium. They have security everywhere. It is just really phenomenal. Anything that you can think of that can be decorated with Super Bowl 55 is decorated with Super Bowl 55.
Wow. So now, if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that you were there early, you were involved in a golf tournament, big golf tournament, doing some fundraisers. So how was your day on the links?
Yesterday was pretty awesome. I golfed with the Women of Color Golf. I was their golf ambassador. This was their inaugural event, and they partnered with the NFL Alumni Chapter Tampa Bay. And it was for a wonderful cause. The golfing was wonderful. It was starting to get really chilly when the women got done. And then when the men went out there, it was really cold. So I was happy that I was done. And then we had a dinner, and they raised a lot of money for the kids. So it was a very successful event.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and glad that you're representing the Real Talk Sports Show, and of course yourself, with all the great things that are going on down there. Let's go back to social media here. I had predicted a big win, and my man Emmanuel Johnson, he agrees. He thinks it's going to be final score 41-23. And he also has a question for D. Orlando Ledbetter. You guys can see it on the screen. I have to take my glasses off so I might be able to read it more properly. He said, D. Led, what are we going to do at 4, man? He says, what are you hearing? Quarterback or trade down for more picks? Kind of what's been the feedback of what you heard with the Falcons and their NFL draft as we shift talking about our Atlanta Falcons?
Well, it's kind of early to start hearing things because the Senior Bowl just got completed last week. They haven't had the pro days. There isn't a combine. The combine is usually where you get all the credible rumors. Right now, people are throwing darts at the board, predicting quarterbacks. But, offensive tackle from Oregon and the linebacker from Penn State will be looked at also. And, then the cornerback from Alabama, Patrick Surtain Jr. is another name we're looking at right now. So there's also a possibility of trading back. However, Detroit, by getting Jared Goff and so forth, they're not a trade partner anymore. So we got to look at Denver as a possible trade back partner if they want to come up and get one of the quarterbacks. So they'll talk quarterback all the way up until the draft and try to get a trade. Really, the blocking has been horrible. The pass rush has been horrible. You don't really need the quarterback right now.
All right, so let's go here to our panel here. Let's go around. Mr. Turner, what kind of your thoughts here on the Falcons draft? Who do you think they should grab there at the number 4 spot?
Well, I'm going to ask Mr. D-Lad this question because he's covered the Falcons for years. Mr. D-Lad, be honest with us this evening. If you was the head coach and GM, what would you take at number 4?
I'm taking the tackle, although I want Justin Fields, but I don't really need him right now. I got a quarterback already. You got a lot of problems. You can't keep the quarterback upright. He's been sacked over 40 times in each of the last 3 years. When Matt Ryan has his pocket firm, they go to the playoffs. So I'm gonna firm up his pocket with the big kid from Oregon. Start him at left tackle or left guard, but eventually move him to left tackle. But I can't just have the free runners to the quarterback.
Let me ask one more question. I like the tackle for Oregon, but I'm going to tell you, I like the young man out of Northwestern, Rashad Slayton. I like him a little better because he's versatile. What's your opinion on him right quick?
I haven't studied him yet. He's not in the top 5 players, so I'll get to him later.
Okay.
Let's go to Joe Hamilton. Joe, what's your thoughts about the Falcons and their spot drafting at number 4?
Well, I really, really agree with D-Led right there. Quarterback, I love Justin Fields. I like Trey Lance. I do like Zach Wilson, but I don't see you drafting a guy at 4 with the number 4 pick and have to sit him down. You have too many holes on offense right now and defense with the Atlanta Falcons. So what I would do, I would, get more picks, and I'm going to only give you one offensive player this entire draft. So if you want to make that a running back, go ahead and make it. If you want to make that a left tackle, I love Sewell from Oregon. Make that left tackle move and put him at left tackle, and I think move Jake Matthews inside to guard. But other than one offensive player, I want the rest of the draft to be defensive guys because we're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. You're going to need bigger guys up front. You're going to need edge rushers again, maybe another corner. So there's a lot of needs out there, and I just don't see drafting a guy at 4. But in my humble opinion, I think Matt Ryan has 2, maybe 3 good years left in him if you can build a team around him.
Yeah, so clearly we know for a fact that, because of the cap space situation and because of the fact that you mentioned, Matt, those things have some tread on the tires, as well as Julio. D-Led, I think you mentioned it also in your writings that the Falcons at this point have no intention of moving either player. And again, if you look at the coach they brought in, Arthur Smith, here's a guy that took I don't want to say a mediocre quarterback, but certainly a guy that was not in the top 10 and turned him into a playoff caliber quarterback. And of course, he had big help by having a stud running back in Derrick Henry. So I look for the Falcons to try to at some point try to pick up someone who can run the ball, or in the group of running backs they have already on deck, to try to find somebody that can be not necessarily a bell cow, but somebody that can give you 1,000 yards on the ground, because it has been proven when Matt Ryan has a 1,000-yard rusher, the Falcons usually are a winning team. Here's what I'm going to do. Ms. Dolman, I'm going to have to ask you here for just a second before I bring you back on. We're getting a little bit of click, so I'm not sure if it's coming from your phone or from the headset, so if you might be able to adjust that. And then we will bring you back on to get your opinion on what you think about the draft. Guys, again, you're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you on every platform we can. As you know, guys, if you have a comment, put it on social media, and we will go ahead and do this, and bam, bring you in as part of the show, as we do for Mr. Emmanuel Johnson. He's got another question for D-Led and for the panel. He said, didn't like the first-round picks that we picked last year. We doubled up on offensive linemen, and both of those guys have been okay at best. That's why we are that's why we drafted Jake. He said, I'm tired of drafting tackles. He says sooner or later you have to kind of coach him up. And then the other thing he asked is you have to take a quarterback. He says we're not winning next year, and we want to go ahead and rebuild. So I'm going to let first D-Led kind of attack that, and then I'll have the rest of you guys in the panel kind of address that as well. D-Led, you first.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Emmanuel. You don't run a team. They're not rebuilding. They're trying to win. They think it's an 8-8 league, so that they're trying to get back in the mix as quickly as possible. They're not doing a rebuild. They can't, because their salary are so high. Now, we told y'all a month ago that those guys were untradeable because it's the Super Bowl week. Some little cat gets on NFL Network and says, Ryan and Julio are not being traded. It's like stupid. Nobody said they were getting traded. So, but yeah, now that's trending that he's not. Well, we told y'all a month ago they wasn't getting traded. They can't trade them. They're untradeable with the contract. So you knew right then and there they're not tearing this team down. They're gonna try to rebuild it with the parts they have left over. They're gonna have to draft some people. They're gonna have to bring some people in. And as far as coaching them up, hey, that hasn't worked out. So, and the ones they got probably are not good enough. So, but as far as coaching them up, the kid, Dwayne Ledford, the head coach, the offensive line coach coming in from Louisville, he's done a great job at NC State with Garrett Bradbury, a great job at Louisville with Mekhi Becton. So he's been around some top talent and has developed them and turned them into better players. And that certainly is a hope that he can do that here in Atlanta.
Well, I think that no doubt, I think everybody Atlanta fan has the hope on that. And speaking, I got hope our technology is working there. We're going back live into Tampa to bring in the lovely Miss Dolman. And Tree, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, yeah, the pop and be gone, baby. We got clear sound. Amen. Amen.
Yes!
So who are you thinking about for the Falcons? I know you have been kind of coy about your pick, but who would you like to see the Falcons pick at that number 4 draft? Or would you just say, hey, look, I'll trade down and give me a bunch of other draft picks because we got so many holes? What's your thoughts?
Well, I also agree with D-Led. He knows the Falcons better than anybody, and he knows his stuff listening to him. So if he says we need a tackle, then I say we need a tackle. I'm with him.
Well,
and which tackle, I don't know.
Right. Oh.
I'm going to tell you guys what I've been saying from the get-go. I don't care who they pick. The only thing I can tell you is if you have a number 4, you have a top 5 pick, that person, whether it be Patrick Surtain, whether it be the big lineman out of Oregon, whether it be Justin Fields if he's available, whether it be the running back out of Alabama, whether it be some people talk about Jamar Chase out of LSU. I don't care who it is, whoever that person is, they have to be a game changer on whatever side of the ball they're on. That person is going to have to make, if not immediate impact their rookie year, certainly by their second year. They have to be the kind of person that when other teams look at the Falcons, they have to say, we got a game plan because of, and put in and fill in the blanks. But like I said, whoever it is, I don't care what position it is, but they have to be an impact player. They have to be a starter, and they have to be somebody that within the next 3 or 4 years would be a Pro Bowl type player. Or else you wasted your pick.
Well, I'll say this. Coaching was very, very bad. Coaching was very, very bad the last few years. And what we'll be able to see out of this roster, that is not, I agree with D-Led, it's not a total rebuild. You're pieces away. I would like for when Matt Ryan to leave or when Matt Ryan has to go or retire, that it's built the right way. You have a pass rusher that you like. You have a solid offensive line to where all you have to do then is go get your quarterback. You don't want to sit here in a year that you draft the number 4 pick if it's a quarterback and he has to sit 2 years. That doesn't make any sense when you're trying to maximize the lifeline of a Julio Jones. You're trying to maximize the lifeline of Calvin Ridley and make sure you know that he's still on the board. You want to make sure you have your number 1 cornerback in A.J. Terrell. So you got some pieces in the linebacker, Lua Khan and Deion Jones. You have some pieces, so I don't think this thing is going to take as long, and we're going to all see. And I know for a fact that the culture, the coaching culture, the attention to details, the teaching of techniques, they're going to get these guys playing much better than we saw the last few years just from coaching, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah,
no doubt.
Matt Schaub said on CBS this week that he doesn't know how, but complacency set in after the Super Bowl year when nobody got fired after blowing the Super Bowl game, and they could get leads, couldn't hold them, and that held up for 3 years, never got changed. So that's what Joe's talking about with regards to the coaching, that whole brotherhood, one for all and all for one. I mean, heck, wasn't nobody held accountable for messing up and not blocking. For 3 years, you gave up 40 sacks. I'm getting rid of all them cats. But that's what Joe's talking about with the coach. I don't even know if these guys can coach. He hired a bunch of his friends from Tennessee. The Titans been pretty good the last 3 years under Mike Vrabel. Dean Pease can coach. Have heard good things about the O-line coach. Not so much about the pass rush coaches. The running back and quarterback coach, you don't really got to coach them. So, but if the line coach is better than what the O-line coaches were, that's an immediate upgrade right there.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's go back to social media. You guys always get Emmanuel all fired up here. So he's like, he wants no part of any kind of lineman. He really wants to get a quarterback. And he says he just hopes that if Justin Fields is available, we don't take him, that we don't have regrets. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it is how this works. Again, I'm going to go back and say the same thing. I don't care who you pick at that pick. I don't care. Let's just say you get Justin Fields. Now, this is a big stretch. I'm not going to try to compare him to this individual. But if you remember, Kansas City had Alex Smith, and he had just come off a pretty good year. And they decided at 12 to draft Patrick Mahomes. Am I saying Justin Fields is going to be Patrick Mahomes? No, but I'm saying that sometimes you get one shot at a franchise-changing player. If you got to pick Justin Fields and let him sit for a year, I don't care. It's just like D-Leg we talked about. Almost 20 years ago, the Falcons decided to bet the farm and pull in a guy to Virginia Tech. And they brought him in here. He sat for a year, and the rest was history. Now, again, am I saying Justin Fields is going to be Michael Vick or Patrick Mahomes? No. But if he's even 90% of what either one of them two guys would give you, I think Atlanta fans would be very happy for about a decade or so.
And the other thing, Reverend, hey, the way these mocks are looking, maybe Denver loves Zach Wilson. So they trade up to 4 against Zach Wilson. And these are the same people that took Trubisky up high and didn't take Mahomes and Deshaun until 10 and 12. Maybe you're sitting at 9 and Justin is there. Now I'm interested. Let's take him at 9. At 9, I'm like, hey, let's go. And then I got picks to get linemen and tackles and linebackers, and the big ends are the hardest thing to find in that 3-4, right, Joe? The the 290 guys that got to hold the edge. You got one in Allen Bailey, but you paying him too much right now. But they at 9, I'm okay with quarterback. I think if he slips through.
Well, one thing I'll say about the quarterback position real quick now, if you are convicted or if you are convinced that one of these guys, including Justin Fields, are they superstar ready? Are they going to be franchise changing? You got to go ahead and get them. No matter how long Matt Ryan has left, 2-3 years, you must get those guys because you don't want it sitting there that Justin Fields is somewhere in the NFC or AFC, balling lights out and have a 10 to 12-year career in the NFL and a sure-shot Hall of Famer. You just cannot do that. However, it's so many holes, and I'm not bumping for Matt Ryan. I know I'm a part of the QB fraternity, but how are you going to ask a man to stay upright? How are you going to ask a man to deliver the ball in the pocket when he's got his brains beat out the last 3 years? His confidence is shook sometimes. So maybe now you can get a running game. It'll help out your play action. It'll help protect Matt Ryan, and then you can do some things that way. I just don't see – because the ownership, if you draft Justin Fields at 4, is Mr. Blank going to put pressure on the organization or the coaches to play him right away? Or are they going to just let him go and let Matt Ryan just kind of fall off the cliff?
Mr. Football, what you thinking, sir?
Justin Fields is an outstanding talent, man. And he proved to me in the Clemson game he was all that in a bag of chips. I would probably roll the dice and take Justin Fields at number 4. And then hopefully with my other picks, I could pick up a quality lineman in the second round like a Trey Smith, take a gamble there, Walker Little out of Stanford, Jelane Mayfield out of Michigan. Then I'm like Mr. Hamilton. I'm probably going to go defense because I think this is going to be a deep defensive draft. I still say, even though the gentleman who's online said they don't need another D lineman, they need an edge rusher, man.
Yes.
And I like the guys and I like them 2 studs out of Miami. I like a Jalen Phillips. He had an injury career at UCLA, got his head back right. What he do this year at Miami? 15 sacks. Then they got that stud Gregory Rousseau, who about 6'6". I call him the baby Ted Hendricks. They're going to need an edge rusher. But like Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Ledbetter, they all right with their points. For me personally, it'll be hard for me to pass on Justin Fields only because Matt Ryan probably got 2 years at the max. And I know they problems in the offensive line. But what I would do, I'd take a gamble, move back, and probably take a chance on Trey Smith, young boy out of Jackson, Tennessee, 60 miles from my hometown. He had a pretty good career at Tennessee. Then you got Walker Little, who had a torn ACL at Stanford. Last year, if he would have came out, he would have been a first-round pick. Then after that, I'm going with Mr. Hamilton. I'm going defense because you're going to need an edge rush. And then I'm looking at another corner to pair up with A.J. Terrell because I like the other 2 corners that's sitting at the top. Everybody talking about Patrick Surtain, but I like Joe Horn, little son, JC. You talking about man-to-man can lock down the field. Go look at his game film. Reminds me of young Mike Haynes with the Oakland Raiders back in the day. You feel me, Mr. Ledbetter? Then I like a young man out of Virginia Tech, Caleb Fairley.
Yes.
207 pounds. I call him the baby Rob Woodson. 6'3", 207, 4'3". Go back and look at this game film. It's a lot of quality defensive players in the draft. But you ask me personally, I just will have a problem. I'm agreeing with Mr. Emmanuel. Justin Fields, to me, is one of them guys. And he proved to me against Clemson on the biggest stage when everybody was talking about Trevor Lawrence. He came out and he was marvelous. However, he put it out there. I am here to stay. Hometown boy, you talking about filling the stands? I take the gamble.
Oh, my goodness. See, that's what I don't like. I really like Justin Fields, but I don't like the fact that you're saying you're taking a gamble. You don't want to necessarily take a gamble
taking him and moving back and taking a tackle. I'm not saying I'm believing Justin Fields when I'm hoping that if I miss on the boy from Oregon, I hope I can get an offensive lineman in later rounds that can come in and fill in a gap. That's what I'm saying. By no means, I believe in Justin Fields 100. Let's don't get it twisted this evening. I think he one of the better prospects coming out. 6'3", 215, got a gun. All you got to do, we all men here, just look at the game film against Clemson. The ball didn't hit the air. You should know about that, Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah, man, but You don't want to get me going there, man, because I'm gonna sound like I'm hating because I've watched.
It do sound like you hating a little bit though, but I understand.
Well, I've watched film on all three of these quarterbacks and Mac Jones. I've watched film on all these guys, Kyle Trask. And if you're gonna bring up the Clemson game with Justin Fields, you got to bring up the Northwestern game. You have to bring up the games where he struggled. You have to bring up the games where he was just a one-read guy.
Players out, Joe. He had 25 players out. You gonna cancel that?
No,
I'm not. Come on, man.
All I'm saying to you right now, Mr. Turner, that to me that I don't see Justin Fields as a can't-miss prospect. I see him as a really, really good prospect. I don't see him as a can't-miss prospect because can't-miss prospects does not need 1 year to groom. Can't-miss prospects does not need to sit behind somebody. Do you think Justin Fields, wherever he goes this year, if it's not the Falcons, he's a plug-and-play guy right away?
Let me ask you this. You said a one-year guy. He transferred from Georgia, had to go to the Ohio State and learn that system for 1 year. Run up to the Heisman Trophy, which you should know about. 41 touchdowns, 4 INTs. Then he came back this year.
Mr. Turner, is he a plug-and-play guy? Is he a plug-and-play guy?
What'd you say now?
Is he a plug-and-play guy? The first year when you draft somebody in the top five as a quarterback, you want him to start day one. Is he a day one starter in the NFL?
In my mind, yes. I'm saying that. I'm saying it to you right now. I'm looking you on the screen. That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
At the end of the day, it's opinion here. All I'm saying, the young man came from Georgia, went up to Ohio State that summer, first year out, everything cleared. He put up 41 touchdowns and 4 INTs and got his team to the college football playoffs. Then coming back this year, you're going to tell me about the Northwestern game when Ohio State had like 20 players out. His whole receiving core is out with COVID-19. Come on, man. What are you saying here? But I understand. Right. It smells like we say down to 901. Hating.
Why would I hate on him? Why would I hate on him?
Let's go back to social media again. You got a fan there, Mr. Football Millennial Johnson. He says, hey, he appreciates you. And he's saying that definitely that our man is Justin Fields. D-Led, I know your opinion is like, hey, if he's further down in the draft, great. Otherwise, you want to see like that old commercial, where's the beef? You want to see some guys in here that can fortify that interior line, if I got you right.
Right. The Falcons been getting kicked in the head, pushed around, can't protect the quarterback, can't get to the quarterback. I need to fix that. And Justin Fields doesn't fix that for me. And, you're going to hear this because I'm hearing it now, and I ain't even made, half of my calls yet. They're going to say, hey, he wants to improvise too much. You got to coach that out of him. That's the year that Joe's talking about. Joe probably done heard it too already.
Right. No, what happens is
what
happens with Justin Fields right now, Justin Fields is a pocket passer. He checks all the boxes. Size, arm strength, agility, mobility, pocket awareness. Yes, my only flaw right now that could be coached out of him is he holds on to the ball a little too long in the pocket and he maybe takes a little sack, but that's cool. But all I'm saying to you right now, I am really high on Justin Fields. I think he's the second best quarterback after Trevor Lawrence. But the Falcons right now does not need that. You're not trying to rebuild and sit a guy down behind Matt Ryan. You have other holes. It's just a need. And what one more point. What does we heard Mr. Smith and Terry Fontenot say that we're going to take the best available player. What does that look like? Because the best available player would be a Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. The best available player would be that tackle from Oregon. The best available player might be Micah Parsons from Penn State. So I don't know what that looks like. But if you are convinced, and I'm just saying it, I don't want a song, and I hope I'm not hating on the brother. But if you're not convinced that Justin Fields is your guy for the future, there are too many holes to have to gamble on that to fill on this roster, in my opinion. But he's definitely better than Trey Lance. He's definitely better than Zach Wilson, in my opinion.
All right, so let's go to that one side. I know Mr. Football wants to jump in. So me and D-Led talked about this a couple of weeks ago. All right, so now if you go with the theory of best player in the draft, I know Mr. Football has championed the wide receiver from LSU. So now if he's the best guy, are you going to take him?
He's gone. He's gone. Right now, my guy in Cincinnati, Jeff Hops, has been in the league for a while. He was doing his mock draft already. So, by the time he got to me, both of them cats were gone.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Chase and Devontae Smith are gone. So now you're looking at quarterback at 4, and, you know, you could trade out of there, or you can take your quarterback, or you can fix your line.
All right, Mr. Football, you had that finger up. I know what that means. That's like a church. You got to say something. Go ahead, sir.
Obviously, somebody didn't hear me correct. I say I would gamble with Justin Fields. That's just my personal preference. Obviously, the Falcons do need offensive line help. But I just said to myself, I wouldn't want to be sitting here and thinking about when Deshaun Watson came out and everybody passed on him. Mm-hmm. That's how I see Justin Fields. But when we start talking about best players, that's a personal opinion. Me considering the best player, I can think the young man out of Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley, is the best player available right there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So all the best available player don't mean nothing to me, however. However, I'm looking at it like this. Granted, the Falcons, Matt Ryan is getting beat up. The most logical thing would take the offensive lineman. As you said, Mr. Hamilton, then after that, go defense, excuse me. But I'm saying, I want nobody put no words in my mouth. If I'm a gambling man and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Justin Fields and what he did I'm going to say in a year and a half at Ohio State, hey, it'd be hard for me to pass on that young man. And he has mobility. And all I'm saying is to you, Mr. Hamilton, you going to throw Northwestern in my face in the championship game when he had all his wide receiving core out doing the cover. You're not being fair here tonight. Well, what I'm going to say is go to the Clemson game when they had Deron Kendrick, who ran as the top NFL first-round pick. And what did Justin Fields do? He put 385 on them, 5 touchdowns.
All right. Tonight. All right. Gentlemen,
yes.
You know how this works. Okay. We're right at the end of the program. Yes. And as always, we could go another 2 hours. D-Leg, you got a sample of what I used to go through on a weekly basis. When these two gentlemen were on the Real Talk Sports Show, I had to kind of be the referee. But we love it because it ain't good sports talk if we don't have a difference of opinion. So I appreciate both of you guys for being candid. Appreciate all those of you who jumped on. And before we go, my main man from Twitter TV, Periscope, affiliate man's in the building. This is what he has to say. He says, hey, Washington wanted to trade for Ryan, but no, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know the Washington football team were trying to get him. And to be honest with you, in that scenario, I'm not sure what a team could offer Washington D-Leg that would make an attractive package get Ryan. I mean, have you heard that? And what are you thinking about that?
Chase Young. Yes. Chase. That's what I want. But no, there's nothing to that. We haven't heard anything along those lines. And he's untradeable. They can't take on the contract.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, who can do it? Yeah. So, right. All right, guys. Listen, before
if Vincent wants, if he wants Justin, then he's got to. And then there's all the reason to want him because the stadium being half full, the seat license and all that. But you better have a plan for me on how we're going to keep the quarterback alive. Better have a plan for me on how we're going to get to the other quarterback.
Hey, D-Lad, like I told you, gamble, move back, and gamble on some linemen that's second and third round picks and hope the new coaching staff, as Mr. Hamilton said, can coach him up.
You're going to have to find some players like Tampa found Shaquille Barrett.
Right. Correct. Well, guys, that's it. We got to go. Affiliate man puts his last comment in. He said NBC Sports was the one that put that rumor out here, and they're notorious for that, D-Leg. You know all about that. Yeah. So that's it. All right, let's go around the room. We want to make sure that everybody can be found. Let people know about where they can get you on a website, podcast, social media, and we make it real simple. When we give you the mic, we just say the floor is yours. So Vincent W. Turner for 100 yards of football, the floor is yours.
Plain and simple. You can follow me on Facebook at 100 yards of football. Pig Suey, the 901 in the house, a.k.a. the only son and the baby boy Chester and Inez Turner.
There it is right there, guys. You see it right on the screen at 100 yards of football. Check him out, Vincent W. Turner. Vince, we appreciate you, brother. You're the one that got all this started. We look forward to having you back on the show real soon. Vincent W. Turner in the building. That's him right there, guys. All right, let's go back here, go around the podium here, around, and we're going to go to the guy that's on 680, the fan. Let's see if I can get him back up on here. Joe Hamilton, he's somewhere in the building. There he is. Let me get him back in here. Mr. Football will remove him from the stream. All right, yes, Joe. Sir. how can people find out more about you and what you do? The floor.
Yes, Joe Hamilton. You can find me on Instagram at JoeHam14. Find me on Twitter at JoeHam14. And also, if you want to hear this voice and hear some infotaining, my partner and I, home team Brandon Lake, we have a show from 9 to 11 on 680 The Fan. You can also download it at 680 The Fan app and carry that everywhere you go. And if you miss an episode from 9 to 11, do not worry about it. You can also stream later on and get your news coming from the home team and the Hamilton show.
There it is right there, guys, at JoeHam14. You see it right there. Check him out there. Well, listen, Joe, you know we always enjoy having you on the program, man. We look forward to having you back again with us real soon. Joe Hamilton in the building. Again, check him out, 680 The Fan, one of the all-time great college football Hall of Famer for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. God bless, Joe.
God bless you. Good seeing you, D-Led.
All right, likewise, Joe.
All right, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the man himself, the floor is yours.
Yeah, you can find everything at D. Orlando AJC. We're covering the Super Bowl this week. Story on the page right now about Todd Bowles starting his coaching career at Morehouse College. We're also on AJC.com, the Cover 9 at 9 blog, and the Bow Tie Chronicles podcast. Thanks for listening.
The man himself, D. Orlando Ledbetter. Appreciate you, man, and we look forward to having you back on the broadcast again real soon. Listen, everybody, we appreciate all those of you who have joined us here tonight. We thank God for each and every one of you, and we hope that you have a blessed rest of the evening. Big shout out to my co-host, Miss Tree Dolman. She had to sign for a little bit early, but good Lord willing, she'll be back again with us here next week. Hey, guys, you know how the preacher does it. I can't let you guys go unless I ask you the big question here. Who out there does not know the mighty Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, as your personal savior? If you don't, I want to say to you, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. Not your mom, not your grandma, not your auntie and them. Nobody loves you like him. He made you and he died for you. All you got to do to have a relationship with God and go to heaven and live a wonderful life here away on earth is believe in Jesus Christ. Confess him by name. And in fact, you will be born again and you will live a life that's not totally carefree, but one that is blessed all the way around. Look, guys, until the next time we join you, one more shout out here for Affiliate Man. He says, D-Led, he says something about Brady gets number 7, and that's his final comment there. And that's our final comment for the night. Remember, you guys, you can follow us anywhere on social media. Check us out at Real Talk Sports 7. It's real simple, Real Talk Sports, followed by the number 7. You can find us anywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and the like. So please go ahead and do that. There it is, at Real Talk Sports 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. All right, guys, until the next time we meet up to you again, we say God bless you and have a wonderful night. So long.